Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And the article we're going to be looking at today in this video is a doozy. I think I will call this one an all-time classic. It is. You know what? These articles just came out thick and fast as soon as Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker had announced that. Well, they didn't announce it. I think the BBC announced it that they were leaving. If they wanted to announce it, they could have done it at the Comic-Con panel like 4 days earlier. No, they didn't want to announce it. Question is, did they jump or were they pushed? The rumor I've heard from many sources is they were called into somebody's office and they said, yeah, this ain't working. So Chibnall's 5-year plan became a 3-and-out deal. So there you go, 3 seasons. But yeah, we've had this glut of articles. I've nearly caught up with them, but they keep making new ones. There's another equally stupid one that came out 2 days ago. It was essentially bagging on about this. It was this. They said, "Oh look, this writer has a vagina, and she writes for TV, and she's a writer with a vagina, and she's written Doctor Who before, and the episodes weren't bad, like 2 of them. So she should run Doctor Who completely because she has a vagina." I mean, like, I just, why are they so obsessed with one's private parts? They are very, very obsessive, very strange. So I guess I got to do that next week, and they keep coming out. I think the reason they keep coming out is because there's no way of saying it hasn't failed at this point. Now the BBC has said in their press, in their announcement on the BBC, that, it dipped to about the same point where it wasn't compared. No, they're saying that it dipped at all, even though they're lying, and it dipped to way below in Capaldi. That they admitting that it dipped at all is just like shattering reality for them, and this is what they're dealing with. This is the angst that they're dealing with. If you're somebody who likes the current era, God bless you. Very happy for you. I'm very glad you're enjoying it. I wish I was too, right? Here's a trade-off. Would you want to be shot in the head, so you have some kind of like lobotomy happen, but that would make you like this era of Doctor Who, or would you like to keep your mind and not like it? That's a good. But cool. If you like this era, I'm not intimating that you've been shot in the head. It's just the only way I can imagine me liking this era would be to be shot. Yeah, I'm not talking like blow my head off, or like a regarding Henry sort of situation. 22, yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, I don't know. So we're going to be reading this article from Screenrant called "What Went Wrong with Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who," which is very curious. It comes from Screenrant because they spent the last few years telling us nothing is wrong. Everything is the greatest thing ever. The only thing that could be wrong is there's some sexist, bigot wastists who don't like the current era of Doctor Who, but they don't like it because they're evil. It's not they don't like it because it's bad. No, they don't like it because it's evil. So, and funnily enough, the writer of this article is a writer who basically, that's what this article's been like for the last few years. Now this article is what went wrong. Well, dude, you're telling us for a long time nothing went wrong. In fact, you're telling us that we were wrong. I think the answer is that you were full of shit, quite frankly. And we're going to enjoy going over you with lots of egg on your face. And that's why I'm doing videos on all these articles, because you've gaslit us for a long freaking time, and I think it's time for a bit of what the Germans call Schadenfreude. It's just kind of like, I have to tell you. This is an aside. I was watching Marvel's What If a couple of days ago. It's not very good. Good animation. I kind of like it. It's a different kind of animation style. Man, if they did the Doctor Who reconstructions like that, that'd be awesome. That'd be really good. And I prefer them in black and white. But yeah, good. But essentially, it was evil propaganda. What if Peggy Carter was really a lesbian icon? Which is basically what it was. Like, what if Peggy Carter was a lesbian masturbatory fantasy? But from watching that, from watching this, Star Trek Lower Decks and watching Doctor Who, I'm able to pull out a single thread which really is indicative in that all these people gloat. You know, it's all especially in the Agent Carter thing. There was a reasonably sexist general who at the beginning, who she puts in his place towards the end and gloats, like, just is a major and you find gloating is a big thing with all this type of drama. In Doctor Who, she gloats a lot, you know. In Star Trek Lower Decks, the character is very gloating. I think there's just this idea that gloating, it's not. Gloating's a bad thing, right? Gloating is a very, very bad. So I don't want to be gloating at them, but my God, years and years and years of your bullcrap. Fine, before we get in here, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit that subscribe button, hit the subscribe. That'd be fantastic. That'd be double dosy. I think this is going out on Saturday. Yeah, going out on Saturday. Like, share, subscribe. If you're subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, if you can consider hitting that subscribe button, that's really helpful. And comment, of course. Let me know what you think. Firstly, I like to connect with you guys. That's actually true. That's not like PR speak. I do like to have an interaction. That's quite pleasant. But also the algorithm likes it a lot, and it helps me out. You know, it helps me out. So, you know, it's not entirely altruistic. Like, share, subscribe, and go check out my Indiegogo, which is still online, much to my shame and embarrassment. 2 awesome comic books, which I am trying to make them in the best state possible. I'm working with a new printer, so I'm trying to get them in the best state possible for this printer. And I'm being a little bit, what's the word? A bit of a perfectionist. There's like things where I'm like, oh, I can just do that again. I'm trying to not, okay? But I spent a bunch of time on this so far. I really hope this is the week we have the files ready that they can go to print, and they'll give us a print date. So I don't know how much longer it's going to be online, right? I don't know how much longer it's going to be online. 220 pages long, very, very, very good story, if I do say so myself. Bible source, atheist, gracious, rationalist, rogues, biblical, the holy and the dead. Very, very biblically accurate, to the extent that you probably haven't heard of most of the stuff that goes on there. Very biblically, like lots of stuff you haven't looked at from that point of view before. Some stuff you'll recognize, like Tower of Babel, things like that. But not preachy, you know, everybody walk their own path, baby. That's honestly, if I was gonna say, you know, what is a holy idea that I would preach to people? Walk your own path, you know, be your own person. That's a really good thing. I don't need you to be me to validate me. I'm quite happy being me, quite frankly. I think I'm awesome. I really do. It's also not good to be that way, but I do. So there's this book as well, The Imperium, a love letter to telefancy in the 1960s. James Bond, Emma Pill, Doctor Who, The Black Slab from 2001, and A Monkey in a Spacesuit, all in one. Fantabulous supergroup together, a bit of Prisoner, a bit of Thunderbirds. Also, and so if you get both books, you get a bunch of extras. You get like this poster, Noble Savages, For the Male Gaze Cast, and I think these extras are only going to be available on this campaign. If you want these extras, go to this campaign. You can get the extras without the books. I would rather you buy the books, but you know, I get it. That's a lot more money I'm asking for you. But if you want them, go snap it up now. I don't know when it's going offline. Fine. Let's have a look at this article, shall we? What went wrong with Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who? Well, the first thing that went wrong is that it was awful. And then we had really disingenuous, terrible media outlets, much like you, that gaslit us and said it was the best thing ever, and if you don't like it, you're a bigot, right? That's one of the big things that went wrong. You know, you can't really get into recovery until you recognize there's a problem. Man, how do I see that in my everyday life? Yeah, it's... I had this thing go down in my local synagogue. It's gone well for a couple of years right now. It's really terrible. Like, it started off quite badly, and now it's got to a point where it's at, you know, a complete desecration of Jewish law is going on by the people who think they're the most righteous. It's so bizarre. The thing is, they doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on it, and they can't get out that spiral, which is where the BBC is. It's human nature. Fine, so let's see how they're gonna see if they can explain their 180-degree turnaround. Chris Chibnall's tenure as Doctor Who showrunner is coming to an end. Yes! And we're all very happy. We are all very happy. But why has this period of Doctor Who been so problematic? Because it was shit. That's the first reason. Because it was boring shit. Now, second reason, because it was preachy shit. It was just relentless, preachy shit. Oh God, that Whittaker was horribly miscast. The scripts were weak. I think the scripts were weak because Chris Chibnall is a white male, one of the most evil things in the universe, according to Chris Chibnall. And so then when people like Mary Blackman wrote a script, he couldn't edit them. He couldn't say, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like for example, when she said that if Rosa Parks hadn't have given up her seat on that bus in the 50s, then there would have been no, equality movement, emancipation of women. What's it called? Civil rights movement. There would be no civil rights movement ever. And 30,000 years later, it would still be, a two-tiered system. Really, it's just so stupid. It's just so unbelievably, painfully stupid. But he couldn't edit her because she's a black woman and he's a white man. So and they're all racists, and that's why we've got unending shit. I mean, the other reason, of course, is that they believe there's this thing called unconscious bias, that you can't control it, and if you're a white man, then you see a woman in a position of authority, you go, ah, no, like that. You can't deal with it, or a black person. Which is, of course, nonsense. It's of course, absolute nonsense. Disproved totally by the Doctor Who, Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who viewing figures, where they had the highest ratings ever for a female Doctor Who, until they found out she was shit. Until there were the other problems with it, that it was absolute garbage, right? So, and that's why they feel they've got to use these things which are popular as platforms to subtly, very subtly reprogram. The viewing public, so they won't be icky wicky racists anymore. Okay, very good. Fine. So that's the answer to your question. Why it's been popular. Let's see what your answer is. Doctor Who showrunner Chris Chibnall has confirmed he's departing after 2022. I think he's departing after by November, right? I think he's gone, and they're going to have finished filming everything by November. That's my guess. And if he's smart, he needs to he needs to be working on his next job now, and Whittaker, and hopefully he will be able to get one. But what went wrong with his tenure? Well, we've gone over that. Chris Chibnall grew up with a Doctor Who, even appearing on a BBC discussion program in 1986 as a representative of the Doctor Who Appreciation Society, being an absolute twat, right? Being an absolute twat. Listen, I do believe we live in a karmic reality, that what goes around comes around, and boy, did that go around for Chibnall, right? Did it not go well? Because he was like, don't you think it's a little boring? Don't you think it's a little been done before? It's like a little ignorant pisher kid to Pip and Jane Baker and John Nathan Turner, who had the balls to face their critics. Unlike Chibnall, right? Who was like, oh, look at us, here we are at Comic-Con, it's stunning and brave, we're the best as ever, new Doctor Who, yeah. And then they vanished from sight the minute it showed, and it was garbage, right? That's why they vanished completely from sight. It was no doubt his dream to become the showrunner, taking over after Stephen Moffat and introducing Jodie Whittaker as the first female Doctor. Yes, that was his dream. Right, but the Chibnall era has hardly been an unqualified success. Not according to you, you lying piece of shit. I mean, not you. You said it was. I like. Could you just have a bit of a mea culpa? No, you bloody can't, can you? Doctor Who has never looked better. I disagree. Actually, I do disagree. I think Doctor Who has looked best. I mean, just in terms of aesthetics. The Matt Smith years. I think, it was who was it? That first production designer. He stayed around for that Matt Smith's first artist. What's his name? I don't know. So he basically who was the production designer up until the later Matt Smith years. But I think after he'd been in the job for a long time, that's when it looked the best, in my opinion. When he had Neil Gordon from Millennium Effects, and was it Milk was doing it at the time, the special effects, when they had a lot of experience doing it, and they were just knocking out good just good work after good work after. I think that's when it looked the best, right? I think Matt Smith year one. Okay, I think that's when Doctor Who looked best. But it looked pretty darn good up until then. I don't think it looks that great. I honestly really don't. It has never looked better, with showrunner attempting to improve the show's production value, but scripts and the character work have been heavily criticized. Really? Because I remember when anybody said, that Yaz was a boring character with no characteristics whatsoever. You told us we only thought that way because we're bigots and we're scared of her brown skin and her terrifying vagina. Do you remember that? Have you forgotten? Because I remember that. I remember that. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Or maybe you're just a lying piece of shit. Maybe that. That could be. A character heavily growing. The fan base has grown increasingly critical and divided in the light of the timeless child retcon. No, I don't think that united fandom, mate. Okay, we had a few people who were like, well, Jodie Whittaker has a vagina, so it's got to be the best as ever. But most people were like, well, this is shit. And we had a bunch of children who said, well, Doctor Who's always been about change and progressive. I don't know what show you've been watching. Look. One of the greatest problems in the world is that children have been elevated to an equal status with adults. If somebody's older than you, they know more than you. That's the basic attitude you should have in life, right? It took me till I was in my mid-30s before I could really understand that. And then I realized, here's the thing. You think that when you grow up, when you hit 20, right? You think, I'm a grown-up now, and I'm the same as a grown-up as a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old. It's not. You've got to grow up. You've got to get married. You've got to have children. You've got to be selfless. You've got to live life, right? And then you have something to say. Up until then, you're a clueless twat, right? I mean, basically, through your 20s, you're essentially a clueless twat. And if, and a way of explaining it for you, like, let's say you're 22 years old, right? You're going to look at a 5-year-old who is 17 years younger than you as somebody not on the same intellectual level, right? You're going to be like, well, this is a child, which is fine. Nothing wrong with being 5, right? Nothing wrong with 5. But it's also true in the other direction. If somebody is 39 years old and you're 22, he looks at you the same way, right? There's that same level of development between you and the 39-year-old as you and the 5-year-old. It's really important for you. But, of course, social media has Twitter especially, has removed all those boundaries, and children are allowed to interact with adults. And they don't feel stupid about it. That's why we have all this like insanely childish things that go on Twitter. Can you imagine somebody doing Twitter in real life? Like somebody walks into a restaurant and says loudly, "Oh, it's you! You remember that joke you told about a gay Polish man in 2003? Are you still a bigot?" Everybody would look at you like you're a moron, right? Look like you're an infantile idiot. But on Twitter, because it's filled with infantile idiots, they think it's somehow normal. So I think that's essentially one of the problems. And the biggest expression of this problem is look at the world today. Now we have children who don't understand the idea there's masculinity and femininity, and basically gender for the vast majority of human race is a binary option. If you're non-binary, gorgeous, right? But like making up genders like pizza, and I'm not joking, they do make up pronouns like pizza. I saw that yesterday. Somebody like whatever they want to call it, Ramsey, Ramself. I mean, there's the weirdest crap I've ever seen in my life. And because they're children, these children have been elevated to the same level as adults, they think what they're saying is valid. It isn't, right? So anyway, that was a bit of a cul-de-sac to go down there. So the fan base kind of got united with the Timeless Child retcon. But basically the people were holding out saying, well, it's still Doctor Who, it's not the best, Doctor Who hasn't been the best. And then they did Timeless Child, and most people were like, no, this isn't Doctor Who anymore. For me, it wasn't Doctor Who for a while. And then Chibnall now has confirmed that he's departing season 13 when 3 specials will air in 2022, meaning this controversial period is coming to an end. Jodie and I made a 3-series and out pact. You're lying, okay? You're lying. It's in print that you're lying. But like, yes, liars love liars, right? With each other at the start of the once-in-a-lifetime blast, he commented in the official statement. Now our shift is done. We're handing back the TARDIS keys. Yeah, it's not really in the state you left it, is it? I mean, it's gone from one of the most popular shows to one of the least popular shows. Can't believe it's still getting made, I guess, because they sell it to HBO Max. Naturally, this news means that the right moment to take a retrospective at the Chibnall era. Why has it struggled so badly, and what has made it so divisive? I think I've gone over that in quite some detail, but let's see what you've got to say. Chibnall's love of classic Who was a problem. If he loved it, why did he destroy it? Right? Yeah, okay. Let's say I really love curry, and I do really love curry. It's Friday morning. It's 10:41 in the morning when I'm recording this. Tonight is Sabbath, and Sabbath you have like 2 big family meals, and we always decide, well, we make different menus. This week my wife wants something summery and different. She's making Indian. Man, I freaking love Indian food, right? I absolutely. The smell when I go upstairs, it smells like a really good restaurant. Oh my god, it's so good. I guess it's wafting down here now. It is a bit distracting. But if I love Indian food, it doesn't seem like I love it so much if I then go and destroy Indian food completely. If I change it so dramatically that it doesn't resemble Indian food. Indian food now comes from, I don't know, Paris. What? No, we want to do, like whatever change you want to make. Indian food is now Nigerian food. And if you don't like it, you're a bigot. Yeah, no, if you love it, if you love classic, you maybe wouldn't have destroyed it. Yeah, okay, let's see. Let's just read it rather than me take the piss out of it. Doctor Who has a long and prestigious history, well, it used to. As anyone would expect, its continuity becomes pretty convoluted over time. Russell T Davies used a Time War to wipe the slate clean, establishing a new status quo in which viewers old and new both had to get to know this mysterious time traveler from scratch. Yeah, very smart. But he only relented, and he only relented as time passed. Yeah, he saw that, he didn't know that how the classic elements would go down. That's why there was only Daleks in that first. What was it? You got the Sideman head within the, but and you saw as X went along, the ratio kind of broke down to 70. I think in the season 2, I think it's like 20% classic stuff and 80% new, and then they fell into like 70-30. I think that's, which is a good. I think that was the sweet spot. When Stephen Moffat took over, he was more comfortable using elements of Doctor Who's mythology, as symbolized in the 11th hour, with the newly regenerated Doctor stepping through a stream of holograms showing his previous incarnations. Wasn't the first time we saw that, though. It was very exciting when we saw, what was it, Family of Blood, Human Nature, the Book of Impossible Things. You had all the sketches of all the different Doctors. Also the timestamps or the info stamps in the Sideman story, which I really quite like. The Next Doctor, because it's not very Cyberman-y, but it's a pretty darn solid story. I do like, what's her name, the villainess in it. I thought she was excellent. See, that's the way you talk about sexism in the past in a convincing, real way, right? By not pretending it's the same as it is. It's not. 11th hour, the newly stepped through hologram. Hello, I'm the Doctor is claiming Decker basically run. Well, Chris Chibnall has gone too far. Well, his first year, he had no classic elements at all. He commissioned scripts that felt very much like old school Doctor Who episodes. Citation? What are you talking about? It's not really difficult to imagine Orphan 55 split into 4. No! Orphan 55 was the most unbelievable dull garbage. You want to split that over 4 weeks? It was awful. What? I gotta have a week of a bizarre woman walking around going, Billy! Billy! No, whoa, no. No. Just because you say it doesn't make it true. What was traditional about that? Doctor Who wasn't traditionally shit, and that was shit. Doctor Who wasn't traditionally preachy. Yes, it dealt with topical issues. Malcolm Hook did a fantastic job, but he put it not in a preachy, boring plot that was very obvious and on the nose, like saying, you're being Greta Thunberg in space, which is essentially what it was. There are even potential cliffhanger moments where the episodes could have taken place. And his love for classic Doctor Who was, oddly enough, perfectly demonstrated with the Timeless Child retcon. Okay, I don't know what this guy's on, but I want some. Because it fits surprisingly well into mysterious clues. And it really doesn't. Brain and Morbius, blah, 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 Brain and Morbius. Anyway, hints from the classic series, the classic massively with idea. No. He grabbed one teeny tiny theory from Brain and Morbius and then wrapped it around and made it not make sense. Well done. In fact, the story Chibnall dreamt up when he was watching Doctor Who back in the 80s, and he implemented it even though it didn't fit especially well anymore. Well, okay, maybe you should have thought that through a little bit more. Ideas go stale. Chris Chibnall's companions were underdeveloped. Well, wait a minute. I remember you telling me that Yaz was the greatest thing ever. She was fantastic, and she had so much depth and complexity. I remember that. Dude, I wonder why this guy's forgetting that. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's almost as if he's a lying sack of shit. Really? Isn't it like he's a lying sack of shit? Because that's what it seems like to me. Okay, let's go. Where Russell Davies relaunched Doctor Who in 2005, he recognised that the format needed to be updated for modern viewers. No. He went back to the absolute classic Doctor Who of like two friends having adventures in time and space. It was so much the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane. It was like this close bonding between them. He reckoned that button needed to be updated. One of the most important change was to make the companions the heart of the story and the lens through which the viewers saw the Doctor. That always was. But no, what he did, he made the companions and the Doctor more of a layered, believable character. He gave the companions families. Like, he made them like they're not like floating in space. So, and he made the families. He gave them lives, right? He gave them mothers, boyfriends, and it was good, and it worked well because of it. And in terms of the Doctor's action, this narrative approach meant Davis' companions were richly developed characters, simply to ensure people could empathize them. Also, he writes richly developed, like layered characters. He knows how to write people. He's a very good observer of human nature, of people, right? He's able to do it. Chibnall isn't. Chibnall's not able to do that. He's just not very talented. And also Chibnall will not give negative character traits to anybody he feels is on the progressive stack. That's why Yaz has nothing wrong with her whatsoever. She's just the best as ever. And she dealt with her mental health issues that we never heard about. right? So bravely, so stunning, so bravely. This narrative, blah, 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 blah. Vampires. Sadly, Chibnall ditched the idea, although he stocked the TARDIS with the most interesting potential crews to date. No, he didn't. You mean the most diverse, the most skin colours, right? He didn't spend much time fleshing them out as material. He didn't need to. If you hire somebody to be a black person, all they have to do their job is be a black person. If they hire somebody to be a brown woman, all they have to do to meet their job is be a brown woman. They got to continue being a brown woman, right? And Yaz did that. She continued being a brown woman. I mean, that's why they didn't hire a particularly talented actress for her, because you just needed her to be brown, right? That was it. That was the only thing you needed, was for her to be brown. She's a terrible actress, but it's just like, she's not very smart. What do you want now? It's not really her fault. He didn't spend much time fleshing out the individuals. There were occasional standout stories like Demons of Punjab, Sunlight, and Yaz, while Can You Hear Me finally introduced viewers to Ryan's friends, but these were few and far between. Can You Hear Me was the one where it went into Yaz's backstory about her having mental health issues. Okay, but God, look at the smugness on her face there. Doctor Who's Timeless Child reveal breaks Matt Smith name and regeneration. It breaks a lot. There's a lot of failing internal logic, right? There's a lot of very failing, but okay, so it contradicts it contradicts law that you happen to know about, right? It contradicts a lot more law as well, because you don't know much. It didn't help that the Chibnall era frequently sidelined the Doctor's companions, sending them on B-plot side missions while the Doctor focused on the A-plot. Yeah, boring A-plot of that. Chibnall saw the Doctor as the viewpoint character rather than the companions. That's not true. The season 11 revolved around Ryan, right? Was it not Ryan? Graham. Revolved around Graham. Graham had the emotional arc in the season, right? It was him who was suffering the loss of his wife, and he was able to overcome his anger and his grief to not kill the terrifying Tim Shaw, right? It was yeah, he had real growth, and he'll play very well by Bradley Walsh. Wait, did I say his name? Graham. Yeah, Graham played by Bradley Walsh. Okay, Chibnall saw the Doctor, the viewpoint character, or other companions who seem to purely exist to give the Doctor a sense of belonging. Yeah. Consequently, several major defining moments in the 13th Doctor's life, such as the discovery of Joe Martin's Forgotten Doctor, or even the Tiny Child reveal, focus purely on the Doctor's reaction. And Whittaker just doesn't have the acting chops to sell any of these things, right? Like her in the Matrix was like, no. I can't do a face as unconvincing as her. I know. I see. There's too much emotion going on there. I can't do it. But given this is an ancient enigmatic being, that's really wasn't a great approach. Any incarnation of the Doctor is better understood through their interpreters. Okay. Again, I didn't really mention this. The storytelling problems of the Chibnall era. Oh, let me count the ways. Christian storytelling choices have been seriously problematic, with far too many scripts depending on third act twists that weren't effectively signposted throughout the episodes. Yes, they were incompetent, right? They're incompetent because they hired people who didn't have the experience to do the job, and he wouldn't edit them because they had brown skin, right? Or they had vaginas, or shockingly, both, right? That must be terrifying. With far too many scripts depending on third act twists that weren't effectively signposted. This culminated in the Doctor Who season 12, The Timeless Children, which fairly bombarded viewers with new plot elements in order to finally reveal the truth about the Timeless Child. Do you remember, what was it? I think it was the episode or two before that they had to do the exposition in a animated like insert because they didn't put any in, right? There was like no explanation whatsoever. New elements to reveal the truth of Timeless Child. In narrative terms, it's clumsy and frustrating, and it leaves the audience feeling increasingly disengaged, which people disengage from it. That's exactly what happened. The Chibnall era has attempted to give the Doctor something of a social edge. This is the only era of Doctor Who where there hasn't been a believable female character or black character, right? I mean, even if you go back, I don't know, what was it, 10th Planet? Yeah, 10th Planet. You had that. You had the black astronaut who had far more of a personality. It was 10th Planet, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. The first Sideman one. Yeah, 10th Planet. The Chibnall era attempted to give something social gain, but it's been done inconsistently. Chibnall's Doctor Who has ignored the problems of British racism, really, and particularly frustrating choice given the showrunners set up the most diverse TARDIS team in history. Okay, one second. This British racism again. I need you to demonstrate it for me. Like what? Because we voted for Brexit? I mean, not me. I didn't even vote for it. I didn't live in England at the time. Because they voted for Brexit? Is that why? Yeah. No. You're joining dots that don't exist because people have told it to you and you want to believe it and you're a moron, right? What is this British racism? If I can bring your attention, the most racist British politician, probably in the last 70 years, was Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party. thoroughly supported by Chris Chibnall and most fans of this era. I mean, like, it's not my opinion that he was racist. He was the definition of racist. The international the UN Human Rights Commission have actually brought charges against the Labour Party for racism, for institutionalized racism that began with was it Jeremy Corbyn coming to power. The racism in general, the specific racism was anti-Semitism, and they were even more racist when Jews pointed it out. Right? They said, "No, you're making it up because you're right wing." No, we're saying you're being anti-Semitic because you were anti-Semitic. I don't think you dealt much with British race. That's the only British racism I know about. What British racism do you want to talk about? Do people? Okay, show me somewhere in Britain you can walk around saying, "I don't like black people." Show me somewhere you can do that. Because I don't know any way you could do that. If you walk into a pub and say that, you're going to get kicked out. And quite rightly so. Because Britain is not a racist bloody country. Quite frankly, it's such a deeply offensive lie that you are propagating. So, okay, problem of British racism. The problem was your politics. And I don't think that's a problem that Chibnall would I don't think that's a problem you were talking about. What's more, when major cultural issues such as climate change have been confronted, they've been done in blunt, overbearing manner. Orphan 55 is a perfect example, with Doctor Who coming close to breaking the fourth wall and giving a lecture to people tuning in. Came close, it smacked. That was a glass ceiling it broke through, darling. Right? It wasn't a glass ceiling of ratings. Was it? No. Yeah, exactly. He broke the fourth wall, which turned out to be the ceiling. Okay. Doctor Who has always been quite political, with stories loosely inspired by UK joining the European Union in the 70s. A number of episodes criticised Margaret Thatcher in the 1980s. Yeah, I love the Happiness Patrol. For God's sake, I really like the Happiness Patrol because it was done with intelligence, and even though it's from a point of view that I disagree with, if it's done with intelligence and it's entertaining, it's intelligent and entertaining, right? Which is, I think that's a fair. I think whatever you didn't like about Happiness Patrol, I found it intelligent and entertaining. I'm looking forward to that season 25 Blu-ray coming out. Hasn't been announced yet, by the way. That wasn't me giving a spoiler. I've heard it. I'm just looking forward to it. I guess the next one's going to be a Peter Davison one. Kind of worrying they haven't announced another box set yet. I do hope they really should have one out for December. But it's usually been handled more creatively, or with more skill, right? With more skill. Pacing has been a core problem in recent Doctor Who stories. Davis Moffat particularly stressed that Doctor Who is a man of action, and even when the Doctor was giving a lecture to his befuddled companions, he was on the go, either walking at speed and gesticulating wildly. That's what Jodie Whittaker tries to do, to make her not sound like an idiot. And she's bad at it, all right? Again, she's just not a good enough actress to hide her own basic stupidity, which is really quite a lot. There's quite a lot of it there. These were not just affections, though. They maintain the narrative momentum, preventing the Doctor's info dumps bringing the story to a screeching halt, which they do all the time in the Chibnall. Again, I spoke about the animated insert, which was just garbage. In contrast, the Chibnall era photography is usually steady and stable, with cameras frequently focusing on the Doctor's face as she stands still and talks. This approach breaks engagement, makes the lectures stand out from the rest of the story, so they become all viewers remember a talking face. Yes, 100%. Was a timeless child a mistake? You think? Well, it depends. How do you want to define a mistake? Do you define something that actively destroyed your audience, right? That really made your rating fall off a cliff and made you look like an idiot? A mistake? Well, I guess so. If you do, then yes, it probably was. It is, of course, impossible to evaluate the Chibnall era without focusing on the timeless child. For better or worse, this will define the Chibnall's term as showrunner. Yes, it will. For better. But while this retcon has always proved deeply divisive, not really. I think everybody hated it, apart from a bunch of children. It is actually too soon to reach any conclusions on the matter. No. Unless Chibnall then retcons it completely, and then it'll just look stupid, right? But there's a lot we can criticize, on the face of it. Like, oh, listen. They've been in the role for showrunner since 2017, basically. I'd say 2018. That's 2018, 2019, 2020. We're in the fourth year. And you're saying, give it time? Screw you, mate. Screw you. No more time need be given. This is garbage. They may clean up the mess they made, but if they do, they'll probably do it badly because and the reason I think that because they demonstrated shocking incompetence, right? Just shocking, deep incompetence. And while the retcon has already been revealed, it's actually 2 things. Chibnall has laid a new foundation for the Doctor, a shit one, and he has yet to build on it. He's going to build shit. I really, for somebody who makes shit relentlessly, I think you can be reasonably sure he will continue to make shit. Hopefully, he will complete his work in Doctor Who Season 13 and the subsequent special, allowing the time to tell retcon to be assessed in completion. Okay, yeah, more of that, mate. The Chibnall has sadly been deeply flawed, but he got away with it because Jodie Whittaker has a vagina, because Tosin Cole has black skin, and because Mandip Gill has brown skin, right? And Jodie Whittaker wore a rainbow across her chest. Yes, that's why she got away with it, because nobody held her to any account. Nobody held this era to any account. Any criticism was then hounded off of social media, and we were told to shut up because we were bigots. Remember that? Because I remember that. And now all of a sudden you go, ooh, it didn't work out so good. Maybe if you let us talk at the beginning, we wouldn't be in the situation we are now. And maybe if we weren't like just so insanely, relentlessly bigoted, we wouldn't be in the situation now. But you were insanely and relentlessly bigoted, so we are in the situation we are now. There's been no reason to hope Doctor Who Season 13. There is, however, reason to hope for Doctor Who Season 13. The serialized approach Chibnall is taking plays to his strengths because it moves to a longer form of storytelling where he has already excelled in the past. I guess, yeah. No, you know what? You can call Brawl Church Season 1 him excelling in the past. Right? Very, very popular, very gripping. He grabbed like the entire country. That I hate to agree with him. That's a fair statement. It won't be enough to redeem his period of Doctor Who history, but hopefully it'll end on a better note. Yeah. Okay, we all know insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Yeah. I don't think there's much hope of there being a different result, but I'm eager to see. I'm eager to see what they're gonna vomit out in front of us, because my guess is it's going to be worth a good chuckle or two. Yeah, in between our tears, as in the twisted wreckage of Doctor Who. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.